Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special day. It's a very special evening. It is the beginning of the World Sprint Championship here at GRDC. My name is Ben Sapsford, aka Sapitron. It's great to be here. And after a little bit of a hiatus from putting on series, of course, we had some experiments in Automobilista 2, but we've made a bold decision. We've made a bold change. And I am not alone here in the commentary box. We have, a experienced track racer joining us here in the commentary box, and is going to be joining us for the season. So, very nice to have you here.
Thrilled to be here, Ben. Thank you.
Well, so very excited about this championship. How are you feeling about it?
I have never seen this many people on track at once. In our championships, this is an exciting time. I will be watching the GT3 cars for us, and we will see how they get on.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be brilliant. And a lot has gone into this. We've been spending the past couple of weeks testing in the background, ready for the broadcast. But even beyond that, there's been a massive amount of work behind the scenes, putting the season together. We've got quite an exciting season ahead of us that I am super duper thrilled for. I mean, first, right out the gate, we need to talk about the calendar, don't we?
Yeah, probably. That's a good idea.
So, we have 10 rounds here in the World Sprint Championship. We have Interlagos to start us off. You join us with tonight. And then we have 5 weeks on the trot before a mid-season break. So we have Spa-Francorchamps, Fuji, Bahrain in the night, Monza. And then after our mid-season break, we have Imola, Le Mans, Algarve, Kota, and we finish at Sebring. So, quite an eclectic selection, I gotta say. A lot of good tracks in there.
A lot of classics, a lot of tracks we don't get to see so much in the racing.
It's a good mix.
It is a good mix. And 2 night races there will certainly challenge our drivers. It throws everything in the totally new light. Your braking points can probably be seen as well, and gonna be interesting.
Yeah, we've got a lot to look forward here tonight, and we are going to actually go trackside a little bit early to catch some of our drivers in practice. Now, we have got the 2 classes, as you saw from the video intro. We have got the hypercars and we've got the LMGT3s. And so far, it's looking like we have about a 6 to 10 second difference. Am I saying that right? Between the 2 grips?
Yeah, about there.
Yeah, so
it is a twisted track with a varying set of corners. The speed difference between the cars and different parts is gonna make this tricky.
Yeah, it's quite a hilly circuit. There's a lot of up and down. You're having a lot of corners where you are sort of going up or downhill, and that is going to affect your grip. It is going to affect how much your car stays in control, won't it?
Absolutely. It will. The weight shifts around, and you can really feel it in LMU. The cars feel heavy.
You got to wield. You've really got to sort of wrangle them almost. It's like you're not just throwing the car around. You've got to really plan your corners, plan your lines out effectively.
The tire model here is very, very good. You can feel the tire almost skipping, and you can ride the cars on the line, which you will have to do if you want to achieve the best times.
Yeah, well, the cars are heavy, yes, but they're also quite responsive, and they give, as you said, a lot of feedback. So, in fact, say an update fairly recently to the game did update that tire model, and say positive feedback, at least from what I've seen so far. So hopefully that translates into drivers really pushing their A game. Now, we have 31 cars out on track tonight, and that is comprised of 17 hypercars, and then you have 14 LMGT3s. And we've also got quite a wide array. We've got quite a wide selection of car choices, haven't we?
Yeah, we have Porsches, McLarens, we have Ferraris, Fords. The new GT3 pack for LMU has really brought the game to life for me. I love the Porsche personally, as you might have guessed, and it's good to see variety on the field. Makes it a lot more interesting to watch.
Yep, and you do have a bit of a surprise in the form of two perspectives. So I will be watching over majoritively the hypercars, but we will also be jumping back and forth on the main cam, as Hero will be keeping an eye around the rest of the course. You'll see it in action fairly soon, and you will get a chance to really spot what kind of exciting kit we're bringing to the table this evening. But one thing I would like to ask everyone watching is, first off, if you're enjoying the show, I'm already seeing a lot of positivity in the chat, and also a bit of information. We'll be up to 34 drivers by the time quali starts, which is brilliant to see. But also, if you are enjoying what you see, show a little bit of love on the stream, bit of a like, and if you aren't subscribed to the channel already, if you're excited for this championship, consider staying on board. We've got a 10-round season. We've got a pretty exciting one at that. There's more content on the channel as well. It's not just WSC. And also, we do need to give a bit of a thanks to Coach Dave Delta for supporting this championship. But enough dilly-dallying. How do you say, right, we get on track?
Absolutely. Let's see what our drivers can do.
Let's see what they can do. And let's jump trackside. We jump immediately on board. That is Mitchell Diaz just peeling off to the side. So let's actually jump on board instead with a certain Gazoo racing car. That's Matteo Bouquet. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. All corrections welcomed, but currently on track. And we're seeing a lot of the hypercars lap around the 124s. Fastest is from Federico Bacossi. One of the faster cars we saw in early test sessions and practices. But got a lot of different cars, as you say, out on track.
Yes, we have GT3. Stevie Lehtonen has made the best time so far. 1:35.20. 295. It's a good start, followed by Craig Starkey and Jordan Fordy within the 1:35s.
Yeah. Well, a exciting session. So we will have as well a bit of a surprise. We will have a second camera. So unfortunately, it does look like it's frozen. So you might need to reload that source there. Oh, there we go. There we go. We do see it come through there. So we will have a dual view. So we might be watching one car out on track, but we will also have a second view there. And we will bring that back as and when the situation evolves.
Yes, we will be following the GT3 balance on my end.
And so unfortunately, a little technical hiccup here and there. But first round of the season, we have done as much testing as we can do in the background, but we will continue to iterate, work on things as the sessions and as the season progresses. We're coming to the end of free practice now, so everyone is finishing up their laps. Fairly large spread in the hypercars. Fastest time is a 1:35 in the LMGT3s. That is courtesy of Timmy in the number 55. And that will be all of the GT3s in. We're just waiting on a couple of hypercars, and then we will see qualifying officially get underway. We'll take a quick look at the session standing. So Federico Bacossi, fastest car in practice. Philip Schlichting about a second behind. I believe they are both in the Lamborghini SC63s. So we will, of course, check up on that as we go. David Pettick is in third place and a couple of tenths behind. But you can see fairly large grid spread overall. We get down to 17th. It's going to be 5 seconds behind. That is Remy Alexander Borgso in the Alpine, I want to say A523. I think that's the official title. Hopefully I've got that right.
Hopefully, I'm not that familiar with hypercars myself.
This is the pyro where you chime in and tell me, yes, Ben, you've got that right. Well done. Gold star. Anyway, we're seeing cars come out on qualifying now, but you see 30 times posted in practice. And now, enough of that, because we are now on track, and we're wasting absolutely zero time. Many cars already making their way out. So let's jump on board with the fastest car that we saw in practice. This is Federico Picossi in the SC63, and looking like an absolute rocket. So early indications show, I know it's early days and it's only practice, but looks like they could be a driver to watch as this session progresses.
I will be keeping a keen eye on my countryman Timi Lehtonen. He showed good times in practice session. We'll see how he does in the qualifier.
Let's keep an eye as well all across the board. Everyone is on an outlap. We do have Panagiotis, who has joined the session. Borgso also in the pits still, along with Mitchell Diaz, but looks like we have got the first car now starting a lap. Let's jump quickly on board with Picossi. Let's see exactly how he's handling the circuit. So through the center S's and Curva du Sol, keeping it nice and narrow to the inside here. Really pushing that car to the limits, over 250 kilometers an hour, almost up to the 300s before jumping on the brakes. That's down Retroposta into turns 4 and 5. Easy to go wide there and down this sector, but keeping it nice and clean. Into turn 6. Oh, a little bit of a slide, dropping the tail bit. I think a bit of lift off oversteer coming from Picossi there, but holding a balance and doing so fairly cleanly. This is where it gets a bit tricky though. Judging your throttle in particular, this half of the lap is going to be very, very difficult indeed. Turn 10, nicely handled, and then down into the last couple of corners. Picossi holding his line very well. With 15 minutes on the clock here in qualifying, and then the race is going to be at 9 PM UK. Translate that to whatever time zone. For about 12 minutes time. But looking very quick. Both Sector 1 and 2 absolutely lit up like a Christmas tree. Picossi up to the line. 24.1. And a great initial run there from the Lamborghini. Are we going to see any challenges? This coming through. This is Adam Zappler. This is in the Ferrari 499P, and very close as well, about half a tenth of, or half a second, I should say. It hasn't updated the timings, but 24.641. Many more drivers now coming through the field. Let's get that tower up. Let's see the times that we have on those indicators. We have Max. This is going to be in the Porsche, making his way up to the line in that Penske 963 livery. Holstenius looking like an okay time. Just need to connect it together. What's it going to be? It is going to be a P9, 27.4. Currently standing about 3 seconds away from the lead in Picossi, and even half a second Zappler has got some work to do. Bellucci is in third, but then looking to the LMGT3s as well. Timi Lehtonen, 35.064 currently is the time to beat. Jordan Forte and Alistair Ramsey are two other cars that we want to keep an eye on. Unfortunately, it looks like your camera is, your actual viewport for the second camera is frozen. So still holding a freeze frame from practice. I'm going to put that away, but just letting you know.
I am working to fix the issue.
There we go, there's Borgso finally across the line. A little bit late to the party, but a 28.7, it's going to put him still on the map. Unfortunately, he is going to get leapfrogged pretty quickly. And is not going to have a chance to stay ahead over the bottom for long. Still has time. Still has 10 minutes in the session, so qualifying is young. Bukosi, though, is on yet another lap here, it looks like. Will they be able to connect the dots? Will they connect the session and the laps together? That is the question on my and many's minds. What do you make of these qualifying times so far, Eero?
The drivers have done a good job. It's a difficult technical track, as seems to be getting this thing to run as well. I'm having slight technical difficulties. Please excuse me.
There you go, up to the line. Picosi's going to chip away by another half a second. Seriously impressive early runs here. We've just having a few more cars now making their way through. Marvin Butson just getting overtaken by the other 499p of Schlitting as they have jumped themselves up with the 24.6. GT3's Robert Poor is another car to watch out for as they are getting very close in these qualifying times. Lehtinen currently holding the pole for the class, but not going to be unchallenged in that endeavour. It's down to 17 Hypers and then I believe 15 LMGT3s with 32 cars in total on circuit. And we'll check in with a couple of other racers to see what times they are putting down. Unfortunately, don't really have much of a track map in terms of live positioning, but we do have, luckily, quite a populated circuit. 32 cars around Interlagos. It means that we are going to see action pretty much everywhere. Carl Whitehouse, though, across the line. 37.399 is their best. But so far, only 13th in group is the best they can manage.
It is gonna be busy night on Interlagos tonight. That's a big grid for this track. I like it. It's gonna be interesting.
I'm excited. It is going to be good. It really is going to be something special, I think. We're going to see a lot of fights.
Will throw extra difficulty in there. It's a whole different challenge to do a multi-class on a very tricky track.
Yeah, it's handling that as well, and that's going to be, I think, the biggest challenge. It's not even going to be putting the peak pace down. It's managing that multi-class aspect. You've got two sets of cars with very different paces. Remember, we're talking slowest hypercar is still 7 seconds faster than the fastest LMGT3. So how do you think the drivers are going to get around that?
Yep, you have to be patient in traffic, you have to look for the right place, and as the slower class you have to be cold-headed and keep cool and stay on your line and let the faster cars navigate around you. Yeah, the urge to help the faster car to pass can be very strong, and but you have to stay predictable, and that is the most important thing in multi-class racing: staying predictable and safe.
Play it safe, stay predictable, and that will serve you very well. Here we are, we're on board with Matteo Bocche, as they are really pushing now. They've had some time to warm up. 24.757 is their current, but they need to be seeing more. They need to get more right now. And currently the sectors are looking good. It's a green sector 1. Just needs to link it together. A little bit tetchy on the apexes. Just not feeling, I think, the confidence quite yet. So not afraid to go right to the edge of the circuit. Get as much angle as one possibly can. And then now a little bit slower in Sector 2. Unfortunately, going to be impacting their time. But now is the final shot, the final stretch. As the time they've made up in Sector 1 going to be paying it enough. And with target time 23.1, it's going to be 24.730. So 5th place. And that will be where they hold things for now. GT3 check-in. Danny Moffat, 3rd place right now. Number 66 Ferrari. Making their way up to the line. Can we see a good lap out of them here? 5 minutes left in the qualifying session. Stick on board with one of the GT3s for a change. See how they're doing. We're also checking and can confirm that the picture-in-picture camera is back. And
we
now
had a
running.
slight technical issue. I have now solved it.
So now back, and we will see in full force. So now we can check in on another car, and we can still keep an eye on the second camera. A couple of GT3s also making their way is Robert Poor. Jordan Forte is currently in the pits, but has got a .491, so it's displaced Danny Moffat. And they are going to be having a bit of a time trying to catch that up.
Top 6 GT3s are within a second of each other, and it's pretty quite tight in the GT3. Much wider spreads in the hypercars early on, but we will see how they get on. There's still 3 minutes of qualifying left. Maybe they can improve their laps.
It's still a lot of time to go. Enough, or at least for one more lap. See, that gauge is getting rather small. 35.565. So Moffat not taking away the improvement they were desperately hoping for. We will maybe see that from some of the others. Staging in the M4 GT3. There'll be another car trying to push it to the limit right now. Number 46. And we're paying a little bit of a homage. See, with the fonts that they've used on that driver number. A little homage there, at least it looks to me, to legendary MotoGP rider Valentino Rossi. A little tidbit of the day there. The doctor would be pleased. But his staging going to get the time he needs. First sector strong. Second sector, a little bit of a drop coming up to the line. Now, will there be an improvement from the Beamer coming up? And it doesn't quite look like... Or does it? Actually, no, it is. So,
it is a bit of an improvement, but not enough to gain a position on track.
So that will be a improvement, yes, but not enough in their case to get that jump that they were hoping for. See, coming up to the end, a couple more drivers working their way towards the end of laps. Butson with some solid sectors here, 0.761. So let's see what kind of speed they're able to carry home. So one thing I find, these hypercar interiors, they feel so claustrophobic. They're so tightly packed.
Yeah, it does like feel like a World War II fighter more than a car. Once you're in there, it's very close up to you. I guess it has to be the car. It's very aerodynamic.
Yeah, it's all in pursuit of that performance and running within the dimensions, but it's a trade-off. You have to squeeze technology even into the cockpit, so a lot of control units, a lot of extra gubbins that they're having to squeeze in there. But a lot of work that the drivers are doing to turn that into pace. You jump aboard Starkey. So in the Porsche car, we haven't seen too much action of just yet. We've mostly seen the likes of Ferraris and even a couple of Aston shots. We do have new vantage. Here we are, 39 seconds and counting on the clock, so time is of the essence. And the drivers got to make these laps count. They've got to be fast about it. A lot of drivers in the pits already. For example, Picosi got those 2 initial laps and decided enough was enough. That's all he needed. Zappler, best they can do right now, 0.391. So because he's really putting down a scary level of pace this early in the season.
Still have a couple of drivers out in the GT3s. Daniel Moffat, Greg Starkey, Alistair Ramsey, Ian Nisbet, Gary Barham, Scottis, and Mr. Vasilopoulos. Still trying to make the push to improve, get better qualifying lap done.
More time is what they needed, but not what they have got. As the session is coming to a close, the timer is up. Most of the hypercars have headed into the pits. And now is going to be the last few holdouts. And even most of the GT3s have made their way in. So Starkey coming up to line. Will we see that kind of improvement they are desperately hunting for? Is it going to be the one? Is it going to be enough? Up the line. No, he's not going to commit to it. Didn't get the sectors he was looking for. Ostenius is coming up to the line. However, as well in the Porsche, it's looking strong, looking like an improvement. It's enough for 2 positions as they jump just a couple of tenths. But a couple of tenths is enough. Okay. Up to the line as well. Minor improvement, but it's just incremental. It's barely the time that they need to get a position. Only 14 milliseconds improved. We are his knees bet up to the line. Will there be an improvement from the Mustang? No, unfortunately not. No improvement here. And with that, session is coming to a close. You can see a lot of the drivers sort of stopping up and now parking away. And that is qualifying as good as done, ladies and gentlemen. So that is it, and here we are. Qualifying has come to a close. And with that, Federico Picossi in the hypercars.
Go to the grid for a race start.
There you go, you heard it here first. Race starts, but Picossi holds top honours. Pole position for the hypercars, closely followed in row 1 by Adam Zappler. Bellucci and Petic take row 2. Perron and Schlichting take row 3. Butson and Bouquet row 4, with Hilstenius and Mitchell Diaz in row 5. We're going to jump quickly over, and we'll see that Timi Lehtinen is going to be our quali master for LMGT3, Robert Poor and Jordan Forte. You can see the rest of the standings for the hypercars on screen. Walter, Wilson, Wallace, Garnham, Voldinini, Kerner, Borgso. Complete your hypercars, and then finally you have the last couple. Moffat, Starkey, Ramsey, Nisbet, Uhilal, apologies for that, Barham, Biddle, Hefford, Staging, Whitehouse, and finally you have Borgeson, Cortis, and Vasilopoulos. A lot of different approaches and a big spread in times.
We have a very international grid today as well. Lots of names from different cultures. It is good to have all these people on the track here, doing something we all love.
So here we go. Formation lap is underway now, and it's time to see what these racers can really show us. So the race has to get started, and the nerves are high. Coach Dave Delta, World Sprint Championship here at GRDC. It's going to be a frenetic, chaotic race. And here you go, 60 minutes, let's do this. The track is hot and away we go. Oh, immediate contact. Looks like that is going to be a death nail for some drivers. Let's look at the GT3s as well. Chaos has immediately erupted. So that's going to be one of the Porsches that is peeling off the side of the circuit. And immediately moves are being made.
Track is definitely hot here, and the racing has commenced. We have seen a bit of rubbing, but we also see a lot of battling. Drivers making their best to gain those track positions early on.
I think it was Zappler who ended up going off track as a result of contact with the other Ferrari of Baitic. So we do have a couple of trades further down as well. This is Schlichting and Butsin going side by side through a good chunk of Sector 2. They're refusing to yield on each other. Look at them fight. Look at them go. And how much they are really pushing the boundaries against one another. Butsin has got a breakaway from Schlichting. And even Perron is going right outside to the edge of the circuit. That's going to be one of the Cadillacs as well. Dan Wilson has overextended, I think, and has dropped themselves down a couple of places. Meanwhile, GT3s, you can see in the corner screen, looking fast and frenzied as they have been on screen for a little bit, and Nero's done a great job of keeping an eye on them all.
Field is starting to spread out a bit now. The most of the door rubbing is done. What we have now, the battles forming all over the grid. People trying to gauge that driver in front, see how they do, grab those positions.
Well, it looks things get tight. Schlichting and Perron, they're going side by side. They've already challenged each other a little bit into Curva del Sol now, up through turn 6 to 8. Side by side all the way. Schlichting taking a bit of an extension on the outside of turn 7 to 8. Perron, though, refuses to yield. He is going to have to take a little bit of a slowdown here, but Diaz is going to quickly capitalize. He's going to scythe that Porsche through like the blades of grass is splitting them. And, oh, looks like there's a bit of contact, though. Things are getting too hot to handle here. Perron is dropping positions, and he's not happy about it. Not a happy bunny whatsoever.
We see Hefford trying to chase down Frank Stegnick in the Ford Mustang, roaring the engine down. But it is quite a tricky track to pass on this. The corners are twisty and elevation changes can make the car feel a bit unstable here and there.
Yeah, you're loading up different sides of the car and you're loading up the different tires.
He's gone for it though. They are side by side going into turn 1. Base being left. But ooh, can Frank make it on the outside? Looks like the move is done. Well done, Mr. Hefford. That's clean, nice overtake. That's what we want to see.
Yeah, Hefford putting on a good fight, putting on a good show. And we'll see, check further up. Hypercars have started to spread. So right away, we can see the different approaches for some and how the grid is looking. Paul Wallace is going to be one of the rare BMWs out on track, the M Hybrid. And it is going to be sniffing out for potential targets. Boltonini could be lying in wait, but he's got to bring some of those sector times down, as while he's faster in Sector 1, he's dropping a lot of time to the car up ahead, to the Porsche in Sector 2. It's dropping a lot of time.
Yeah, those hypercars have a lot to do for the driver. You have to manage the battery, and you have to keep an eye on the charge levels. You have to manage the brake region if you want to extract all the possible time out of the thing.
And it really is just maximizing your efficiency, because remember, you've got an hour to run. And an hour to run is going to be a long session to manage start to finish. Going to jump with Butson, as we do see he's actually got the fastest Sector 1. So could be putting down a bit of work to try and close the gap to the rest of the top 5. He's going to go a little bit side by side with Pittick. No attacks being made at this point in time. In fact, having to yield off a bit. Goes wide on the outside. And tucking the nose in for potential move into the next lap. Up on the attack here. Let's see what they have cooking in store. 290 for having to yield off. A little bit of lift and coast. This is what we're seeing about that efficiency. Yeah, lifting and coasting as well. How effective of a tactic is that?
If you need the fuel save, it can be. But as a racer, usually you want to be either on the gas or on the brakes. Sometimes when the racing is close, you do lift and coast a bit because you don't want to be right up someone's rear bumper. But yes, it's a bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah, of course you can use it to space yourself while also saving a bit of energy and a bit of fuel. So, using in moderation to balance that with your pace is going to be essential, as this will be a marathon, not a sprint. Zappala has recovered well, currently sat in the podium spots and looking mighty swift at this point, although not to be outdone. Picosi's just come through, and I think I've just seen a new fastest lap time of a 24.868. Ridiculous speeds coming from that Lamborghini.
GT3 side, Robert Burr is still in the lead. Hot on his heels is Daniel Moffat and Alastair Ramsey, followed by Craig Starkey and Gary Barham making our top 5. Top 5 GT3s. Drivers are now in their groove. They have warmed up to the race. They are nailing those corners, trying to extract those tenths, even hundreds of a second out of each of the corners, and looking for their opponents to make even the slightest mistake so they can get in that slipstream.
It's just about piling pressure onto your opponent at this stage. You don't want to put yourself in a compromising position, but you can force the other driver into a mistake. So over 290 Ks once again as they now head into the first couple of corners. You can see Butson is going aggressive to try and make up for lost time, but it's not working so far. He's coming up to the back, but then having to back off.
There are not many easy places to pass on. The Lagos is an excellent track to drive. Very enjoyable, but very tricky.
See multiple Ferraris, Pettik, Butson, Schlitting, all within a couple of seconds of each other. Schlitting I'm surprised to see so far down, considering it has got a faster best lap time, about half a second faster than Butson and Pettik. So maybe there was something that happened earlier on.
Could be.
See potential battle kicking off here. This is Hilal and Hefford close together. You can see right tight to the back of the Mustang. Peeks to the left side, goes for it.
Hypercar in the mix.
See Pocosi having to
Really
make
nice
quick way
move.
through.
Well done from every one of them. 3 cars wide there for a moment. Good racing. This is what I meant with the hypercars in the mix. It makes for very, very exciting watching. They just show up on you and they have such a speed and aerodynamic advantage.
Yeah, this is where it gets interesting now, because you've got the hypercars trying to navigate through traffic as well as the racing itself.
Absolutely.
The driver feeling this right now. Was on the challenge with Hefford, got the move, but now is dealing with hypercars appearing left and right, all trying to make a vie for their position. Even so far as going slightly off track into the grass to get that apex.
This is where you need quick decisions and a cold head to stay in the race. If you make a mistake, you get in front of those hypercars, they don't have much time to react.
Here you go, more hypercars making their way through. That's one of the Mustangs. That's Cortis having to make way. White House also. We had a brief second where the two Gazoo racing cars, Walter and Perron, were close together, but now Holstenius is taking advantage of the LMGT3 chaos. This is why it's also a benefit for some, because you can catch some of the other hypercars off guard, and if you're good at traffic, you can get some free spots.
Absolutely.
Even with a little bit of light flashing, little communication there. Good or bad, you tell me.
I think it's highly context dependent on the track.
I think context is the most sought after thing here, but the field is condensed once more. The hypercars now lapping their way through. That's Bacane. 7th position, or 8th position, sorry, in Hypers. Currently making their way past Biddle. And now Uhilal, who is 8th position in GT3. They really are getting to truly a lapped stage.
He's had a nice race so far. Had a couple of battles. Let's see if he can keep it nice and clean through the end. Jordan Biddle following up him, and followed by Graham Hefford. The Mustang, Jordan for the getting passed by Wilson in a hypercar. Followed by our man in Amsterdam, Franklin Stiegnig.
We even see a couple of GT3s challenging on the track space of the hypercars. I mean, look at this. We're 40. Really pushing Baldinini to the limit of the circuit there. So, brave move. And one that I can certainly commend. As Paul Wallace, all making a bit of contact effort there. Going alongside, was struggling a bit with the rear brakes. Got to get past his M brethren. Wallace past Heffert. Forte making the advantage. Taking advantage of the situation. That's racing sometimes.
It very much can be.
Here we are, 17 hypercars, 16 LMGT3s. And many on the offensive. Walter could get back up on Bouquet, but it's got a lot of work to do. Having to get past GT3s is no easy feat, as Ira has said. But just how difficult is it to pass around here?
There are only a couple of reliable passing opportunities. One would be the main straight, and well, that you can obviously throw it in any corner, but that is risky, and you have to communicate your intentions well beforehand before you do it.
Yep, no chicanery, no surprises.
Yeah. I do like the track though. I recently drove it and quite enjoyed my time here.
Oh. Yeah, I love the track as well. It really is one of those iconic spots in the calendar that cannot be topped. Although usually you see it towards the end of motorsport calendars. It's very rare, or at least outside of F1 circles or inside F1 circles, rare to see it anything other than a finisher, just because of how cemented that is.
Oh, okay.
Fairly spread across the fields at this point, so now a lot of the action is coming from the fields mingling together. Interleaving, interlocking in various different ways.
Vasil Paul's going a bit wide there, but he manages to keep the car on the track.
Okay, exercising the control where you can, but we are almost 20 minutes, and so far Federico Percosi is your car to beat right now, looking almost untouchable with a great running time, about half a second faster than the next closest, Bellucci's fastest time. But Zappala with a recovery. Now looking to make it happen in the presence of an opportunity.
We have Timi Lehtonen leading the GT3s, closely followed by Robert Perr and Daniel Moffat in third place. They have raced hard and they have raced clean so far, but the race is still young. We have most of the race left. Pit stops will come and affect the situation a bit later on. We have 2x tire wear and 2x fuel usage on here, so that will definitely affect the racing the further we go in.
Yeah, those multipliers are going to change strategy in a big way. So, holding your pace to a consistent standard while still running your strategy is going to be tough. It really is going to be tough because you're trying to strike a balance, like so many things in this race and in this game.
It is exactly that. You are extracting the maximum speed out of the car, you're extracting the maximum speed and efficiency out of your pit stop, but you don't want to mess any of them up. If you mess up the pit stop, you get a drive-through, and that's not something you want to do.
We're seeing some cars make good on their earlier laps, so this is Dan Wilson making a big improvement. And while it isn't necessarily about lap time, he's doing well to start catching up to the field. Currently 56 seconds away, the leader is. And even further for others. Just having a brief technical issue, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to leave you in Aero's capable hands for just a brief moment. We've got 2 cams on screen. We're going to have an eye on the hypercars in the front end of things. And we'll also have the second cam for Aero. So leave him in his capable hands for a couple minutes.
We are currently on board with Sebastian Borgensen, a newcomer in GRDC, but he's been a very nice lad to race with, and we've had some good chats in Discord. Let's see if he can catch up to Franklin Sticknick, our man in Amsterdam. Racing in a pretty BMW. Yeah, getting bashed by Bellucci's Lamborghini hypercar. Back to our leaders. Second in the race of GT3's Daniel Moffat. Still battling with Alasdair Ramsey, right up his rear grille. This battle has been going on for quite a bit already. They have been at it for several laps now. And Craig Stuckey not far behind in the mix, looking for opportunities. Seeing what comes. Just enjoying the slipstream behind. Ramsey can't quite get close enough to get alongside to any of the corners. Danny is doing a good job here defending, but keeping a decent pace while doing it. You don't want to park it on every corner, every curb. Checking a bit further down the field with Gary Barham in a Porsche 992. Heading down soon to the main straight. See what sort of lap times he's pulling up. On the 6.9s, that's a decent lap. Looking good for him so far, followed by Reda Hilal. Within about a second. Flaps behind, we got Jordan 40. Jordan Biddle right behind him in a mix of hypercars and GT3s. Going down the straight. Hypercars making their way around Graham and Hefford. Seems like Denny has managed to gain a bit of headway on Robert Burr. He's now a couple of seconds behind. Maybe the hypercars in the mix have thrown a loop. Oh, Dennis, Ramsey and Starkey are headed to the pits. We see pit stops coming into play now.
Alright, well, I'm back. Thank you for covering, Hero. And
no worries.
We are back into it now. So, key updates. Starting to see a couple of cars boxing and pitting in. GT3s, we have a few of them now in the box. We do have Vasilopoulos, unfortunately, DNFing. So, they will not be finishing the session today. And all contact, that's Barham. We are getting caught up in all of the chaos. Borgso is round, to quickly get themselves off of the track surface, prevent further collateral damage. Big wobble there. Not looking like a good time.
He
Also,
might need to
already
get
behind.
that damage repaired.
I think it was I don't want to say a pit maneuver, as it's tough to judge from the angle, but there was certainly contact to the rear that spun round. And even then after that, looks like there were a couple of other impacts that would really now be affecting their cars.
Fast cars and fast situations, sometimes these things happen in motorsports. It's the unavoidable fact of reality. Oh, I just witnessed that.
Seriously high aggression. Heron, much of the same. So Forte's going to get out of the way. Going to make sure that they leave here relatively unscathed. Barham losing a bit of time on his own. And this could be a chance for Forte. Get a move done. Barham is alongside. There's a bit of a wobble in the Porsche, not quite holding speed. But they're both heading into the pit, so they're going to switch positions just in time for the box.
Followed by Jordan Biddle. Yeah, we are coming up to the halfway of the race. It is quite a natural spot for pit stop if you want to make good use of your new fresh tires.
You want to really sort of push the pace out on them early, I think.
Especially in the hypercars, the tires. If you flat spot the tires, you won't have a fun rest of the race. They can shake the cavities out of your teeth. It's a massive force feedback thing.
Oh, and a bit of a coming together as the two Ferraris, Button and Petic. They make contact once. Diaz is waiting to see what happens between these two. I think they're biding their time rather than going on the attack. I think they're almost letting the two of them fight each other, because that will then make their lives a whole lot easier.
Lehtonen and Burr are out of the pits now. They probably enjoying a fresh set of tires and a bit more gas in the tank.
And looking good for Diaz. He managed to get the move on Button into the center S's, but can they keep that momentum up? Petic is in the way, and about half a second up the road. So this will be a bit of a challenge for them to try and make up. We can jump up to the front quickly, but there's not much to be seen. Picosi is still in the lead, and in the lead by a significant margin. 10 seconds on the clock to next closest Lamborghini and next closest car in Bellucci, doing an absolutely insane job, to the point where now other hypercars, Borgso and now Kerner, are being lapped by the leaders. So this will be a bit of an indicator as to what pace is on display. It's just another level, isn't it? It's just something else entirely. But we do have another DNF. This is going to be Hefford this time. Not sure why. I can't find anything on those logs or anything. Not sure why that's happened.
Yeah, I did not catch what happened to him. Always sad to see someone having to quit the race, whether it's technical difficulties or just probably an old broken car. These are events we very much look forward to every time. You would want everyone to be able to race them to the finish, but sometimes that's how it is. Sometimes she goes, sometimes she doesn't, and that's just the way she goes.
Yeah, I think as well. I think there might have been one of the cars that got affected in the collision with Borgso earlier on, so that will be a factor if that is the case. Now, a couple of drivers now in the pit lane and looking to take advantage of a slightly earlier pit stop than some others, because there's still quite a few yet to go in. I mean, Borgso is still out and I think has taken a stop to the point where they are now behind. Technically, they are behind on track. Moffat, although that has just been rectified. It was very weird to see for a split moment to see a
PT3 leading a hyper. Yeah.
yeah, it's not something you see every day.
Yes. Danny Moffat is fast, but maybe even he is not that fast.
So we do see drivers still pushing the limits. Even now in the session, 29 minutes on the clock. Biddle, Boehm. Close drivers, close proximity. I believe both stopped now, so this is a go time. This is game time. Although saying that, Biddle has just pulled in. Is going to be joining the different hypercars. So Perron is out. Kerner and Wilson are still in there a little bit longer. Perron has a chance to go and get some time back.
We have Robert Burr and Timi Lehtonen still fighting. This battle has been going on since almost the start of the race. They seem to be very well matched with each other within half a second. Full lap and lap on end.
And dealing with a bit of traffic already. 14's Perron on his tail. Doesn't like the hyper can get by, and oh no, they are going to come together. Sparks will fly. Forte is defending quite hard, actually. Really all taking a bit wide sweep of lines. You see flashing over the headlights almost as Perron is to say, hey, let me go. And eventually that does happen. A bit of a flashback from Forte. And then life goes on. Is Diaz out of the pits now? A couple more cars going to be jumping out. Picosi is out of the pits here, so they have pitted in. Bellucci has joined them. Making their way out now is going to be a quick rush. We do see another BMW here. Paul Garnham. Another chance. Fight around some other cars. Tapler is technically ahead, but I don't think they've stopped yet.
They have reached Yellowstone Ramsey, having caught up to Mr. Nisbet. Let's see if they can make a move down the final straight here. Not quite close enough to get it done. They stuck the car in behind, stay in that slipstream. Try again next time. Keeping up the pressure.
Let's jump on that to the main line, as these two are looking to be playing a game of stalemate. Game of chicken. Ramsey hot on the heels of Nisbet, getting much closer there through turns 4 and 5. Really aiming to show them what's what. Quite an interesting matchup that this could be. So this is Nisbet showing a little bit of an opening.
Immediately, Alistair Ramsey makes the move, gets the car in there and gets the move done. Well done, nice and clean.
Yeah, well, they did make a comment about his driving style prior to the race. He said his driving style is, quote, trail in, point and shoot. And I think that works well here because you see he's leading his car through.
I think that is very much what we just saw happen here. That is very nicely put of him.
Set your target, set your line, commit to it all the way through so you get what you want. That's the way to do it. So eloquently shown, but we're seeing a couple of cars actually have their lamps on, as things do look like they're getting a tad darker. I think it is sunset in game time. Might see it get a bit darker than that. We do still have 25 minutes.
Yeah, the shadows are definitely getting a bit longer. The sun seems to be setting.
You allow unfortunate case of trying to catch up but just not being afforded the chance. And see, even lifting and coasting a little bit, trying to manage everything out here. See, this is going to be Moffat in.
Sorry, I cut you off there, go on.
I was just saying, Moffat's in the pits right now, and so things will potentially change up, and Lettinen could be taking lead where they had pole last time, now taking lead again.
Lehtonen has definitely been quite dominant this race in the GT3s. He started by leading the qualification and he has held the GT3 pole most of the race. Impressive showing. My hat off to you, good sir. But he still has 22 minutes to go to get it done all the way to the end. One mistake could cost everything.
I'd say Lettinen's really pulling in on those 10 years of experience in sim racing to really handle this track like a champ, putting down some great times as well as holding the line, holding firm. He isn't out of the woods. He has got close competition in the form of Robert Poor, but still putting down a great attack is Poor, despite the hypercar odds.
Poor has done well this race. He has picked his battles. He has chosen his strategy well. I think he shows by him being second in the GT3s currently. Third up we have Lashley Ramsey, who has done well doing consistent quick laps, which is really the fastest way around the track throughout the race.
There's a lot to consider, but it's handling it very well. Say, Lieutenant Poor Ramsey, your podium sitters currently for GT3, and then Picosi with Zapla and Bellucci in for first, second, and third. Bellucci, in fact, dealing with the current GT3 leaders. Let's see how quickly they can sight through, and efficiently done. Very smooth work. Okay, 17 protos, hypercars still remain. There goes me old lingo creeping in there. But 14 only in terms of GT3.
Yeah, we have lost a couple of drivers. Rest are still battling.
Vasilopoulos and Hefford. They lost them about 12 laps and 7 laps respectively ago. fair bit earlier on, unfortunately.
It is unfortunate.
Okay, that is a Porsche who is around the wrong way. Baldanini, I didn't really know what to say for a split second there. I think they just lost control at the last sector, running quite slow. Here comes Schlichting in the back.
We have Greg Starkey and Franklin Steenick battling with Porsche and the BMW as well.
Yeah, so you jump on board with them on the main cam. There's Ducky and Stuznik, as you said, close together. Is the Porsche going to go for anything in the form of an attack? Making Duck here at Interlagos. 19 minutes clocked. There is a yellow out briefly. Not sure what the reasoning behind, but here comes two hypers. Wallace, Diaz together.
Not quite enough space for Starkey to make the move.
In fact, has to wash out wide, so avoiding contact, wiser choice. But of course, the short-term consequences immediately felt.
Yes, he has lost quite a bit of time. Still better than getting involved in an incident, but not quite optimal for him there.
Yeah, of course. A lot of different ranges in experience here on the course. You've got anywhere from a couple of months in the case of Biddle, all the way up to more than 20 years.
That is
In the case of
impressive amounts of sim racing.
Certainly earned the stripes. That is for
Absolutely.
sure. Well, a decent mix as well, drivers who have done both casual and competitive racing. And even coming on from other places, consoles, peripherals. Quite a unique and interesting collection of drivers. We'll love to see those stories unfold over the course of this season.
Yeah, looking forward to that. This definitely has been a interesting moments-filled race, but I think they have kept it very clean throughout. That's what we want to see. There have been a couple of incidents, but racing is dangerous. Those sometimes happen. They have done well to navigate the very tight, very twisty Interlagos circuit, along with the mixed added challenge of there being two races going on at the same time on the track. So well done everybody thus far.
Yeah, great work up and down the field, and certainly an early indicator as to who can do well with the points. Field is looking rapid and looking very much like an exciting season ahead. So we've got 10 rounds in total, and we've got just one of them underway, and already we are starting to see some real standouts in terms of drivers. We've got Cosi absolutely running away with things right now. De Bellucci is a little bit closer behind than they were, but Cosi has shown themselves to be a top competitor. They've really smashed it in qualifying. They continue to hold the fastest lap of the race, and they currently are in first position. The Grand Slam in sight. Bellucci close behind, but can't touch the other Lambo. Lehtinen is in a similar situation. He holds the fastest lap for the GT3s by almost half a second. He holds position and held pole. Two top drivers currently showing themselves, but don't sleep on the rest of the field. We haven't technically seen everyone. We've had some great fights and some great racing from both GT3 and Hypercar.
The field has spread out a bit now. There are no immediate fighting going on in the GT3s. Every driver is just extracting the maximum pace they can out of their vehicles currently. It's 14 minutes left in the race. They want to make some moves. Time is running short for that.
Much more to come, and we switched around a couple of bits just to make the viewing experience a little bit cleaner here. A couple of racers now finding their own pocket of the circuit. Despite having 31 cars on course, it is still possible to find your own room, and that's exactly what some of these racers have doing. Now, they are still encountering GT3s, but in terms of their class brethren, like for example Kerner, had an early wobble but has established themselves in P14 and doesn't seem to be having much in the way of traffic problems. Remember, they got 20 seconds on the next class leg. Oh no, that was a dicey first couple of corners, and that has come to bite.
Robert Burr immediately taking the advantage of Lehtonen getting shaken up down the corner with the hypercar there. Let's see what comes out of this.
Yeah, pressure is on now. Lehtonen getting impacted by that. I'm not sure if they had damage that will affect their running, but Pure is in the rear view mirror, and all of a sudden that doesn't matter anymore. Leo has this. If he can hold the pressure. Lehtonen is a driver who has demonstrated themselves to be quite calm and collected. But if Pure can keep the torch lit, keep the pressure high, and not get sucked into a battle as hypercars are emerging, they could potentially take the lead of GT3.
We will certainly keep an eye on this situation and see how it develops. For now, though, Lehtonen has managed to fend off Burr's attempts.
Series, a chain of events starting to be set in motion. An interesting one I got told is if you have 30 laps, you spend 29 of them preparing and only one of them actually racing. And I'm not saying that that is necessarily true here, but we do see a lot of wider strategy being played by the drivers. Pit timings, energy usage, positioning on track next to each other. It's all these little things that come together.
It is. A lot of technical stuff goes in the racing, but also a lot of it is just keeping your head together, keeping your cool, taking your time, and when the moment comes, striking swiftly and decisively.
And so now we do have a rare moment of calm, but not to be outdone. Okay, and Butson very close together, within a quarter of a second together. Mihalau having to step out the way for the GTs to allow the hypercars in. Allow them to battle. We've got a massive expanse of the circuit that is undisturbed. and a big opportunity to gain some time. But it depends how brave you are in this section.
Those hypercars certainly do need a lot of bravery. You have to trust the car a lot. Just throw it in there, but don't overdo it or you'll spin.
So keep our eyes firmly locked on Bouquet right now, because dealing with a hypercar chase, but also GT3s poking their noses in, and there's a little bit of dirt forming. I do love the attention to detail. Really is something else. Like you've got specks of dirt accumulating on the windshield.
Yeah, yes, and you can get like a stone striking, leaving a mark in there, which is a bit too real sometimes. It is a remarkable job they have done with this simulation.
All looking forward to even more down the line too, considering the commitment they've already shown to this game.
Absolutely, early stages yet. In terms of the game maybe, but our race is shortly coming to a close. We have a bit over 8.5 minutes remaining on the clock. Drivers are tired, but they are still not out of fight.
Well, they keep the fight going and keep the spark alive. And one thing I am super thankful for is the fact that we do have these overlays. These are built by the game. These are built, albeit with telemetry that is being exported. These overlays are from LMU.
Yeah, very impressed with how they released a great tool like this. That just runs on your local host. It's super helpful.
That allows us
Great
to have all
tool
the
to
graphics
keep
like
up.
this.
Yeah.
Does make all the binding and the finding of the angles a lot easier. We do have an unfortunate DNF though. This is Baldanini in the hypercar. So he's in the Porsche 963 and has DNF'd with 7.5 minutes to go. Which is a shame, because you do get points just for finishing. You might as well have stuck it out at that point and committed the whole way.
Maybe if the car has unrecoverable damage, then you can, then you're out. But yeah, it's still could be worth trying to get the car to the pits and get it repaired. Yeah, as Ben mentioned, you do get points for just finishing.
So even if you have major damage, it's still worth keeping it going, keeping the challenge alive, making it eventually to the end.
And I always say to myself when I'm racing and if I'm having like a recovery race that it is always practice. This is always good practice for the next one. More laps in, more time with the car, more time on track. It's all more experience.
Seeing a lot of experience combined on this track. But unfortunate demise for some. Baldanini out fully. No chance of rejoin. Ledonen is still behind Robert Poor.
Oh, Ian Nisbet has gotten to second place in the GT3s.
On the challenge, Nisbet has the chance and they seize it. Simple as that. Mustang does have some good power.
It does, definitely. Porsche might have the advantage on acceleration, but raw straight line speed, no. The Mustang just goes.
The Mustang is something else when you put it in a drag race, akin to its heritage. You pop it in a drag race and it will be right as rain, right at home.
Absolutely.
We've had a great race so far.
Interesting. Maybe he miscalculated his fuel.
So it actually is getting dark right about now.
It is definitely not as bright as when we started racing an hour ago. Some drivers have put on their lights.
This one's going to be a doozy as you have the final minutes under the clock. It's just over 4 minutes left. And this is going to equate to about 3 laps remaining. Let's check where Pocosi is at as our relative benchmark. And lo and behold, has done very well. Currently holding a clearing at 12.4 seconds. Although that is fluctuating rapidly. The great thing we are now seeing is drivers make the judgment call whether they want to do a move or not.
Yep, we've definitely seen some. Ian Nisbet has taken the lead of the GT3s with only 3 minutes 45 seconds remaining. 7 seconds behind we have Timi Lehtonen, 2 seconds behind Robert Burr, and this is looking to be our 3 podium contesters for the GT3s. Very, very interesting, very last minute shake up in the rankings here.
Okay.
Shows you anything can happen in a race.
Still on the back line, still on the back foot. Butson holds firm with the defense. 2 laps remaining, and it looks like it's just making their way out of the center S. Lehtonen is back up on the top of the field as well. Port is much further away. Yeah, much further away indeed.
Yeah, there is a bit of a gap between them. And Nisbet's gone to the pits. Rida Ohila currently in 3rd, Daniel Moffat in 4th. We'll see how their pit strategy differs, how these different strategies pay off. As we come to the final 2 minutes of this multi-class race. It has been hectic, it has been interesting, it has been very hard to say sometimes what's going on this track, but our drivers have got those track positions. They have fought up until the very end, and they've almost got their prize home. Just a couple more laps now.
Yes, remember it is dependent on that timer. And making sure you get the most out of the session while not extending too far. It's easy. Be surprised when it happens, but you can accidentally extend yourself an additional lap. And if you're running too aggressive with your fuel and your energy management, you're going to have a lot of problems.
I had this very thing happen to me last night on Nürburgring. I had to fuel save the last 2 rounds, 2 laps, because I miscalculated by 1 lap. And on Nürburgring, that's quite a bit of fuel.
We can check on the timing tower the kind of energy that they are holding, and we can see a lot of them are down in the hypers to single digits. So we're seeing 7%, 6%, 7, 9. Only a few are still in that double-digit mark. Wilson, 25% energy remaining. So this is a weird one. They could push up here. I think they really should be pushing up harder. Here we go, timer though, coming through, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and there you go. That is time completed. So once the leader finishes the race, that is time dusted. I'll say first race of the season, almost under our belts. How are we feeling?
I'm thrilled to have witnessed and commentated this. This was very exciting and still is very exciting to follow. Our drivers have done a great job managing the difficult track and multi-class combination. And they've done well to last an hour in here. We see some last-minute moves. Danny Moffat has just passed Uhilal into the first corner. Makes the move stick and gets it done.
Make it happen, make it stick, make it a done deal. And Pocosi, just like that, up to the line, is indeed making it a done deal. Success achieved. Pocosi has won the race. Bellucci's coming up in second, and we will see him just there as the second lime green Lambo. Zappler is also making their way quickly down. Field is tight. Final pushes. Is Zappler coming through to really call it time? Port is coming across as well and is going to be our winner for LMGT3. Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to Port and Pocosi, as we may be able to interview them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Should be interesting. Port doing a couple of celebratory spin-outs there. Well deserved. Second GT across the finish line. Daniel Moffat, Timi Lehtonen third. Alastair Ramsey coming in fourth. Aine Nesbitt fifth. Jordan Foley, Jordan Bell, Franklin Steenick, Gary Baham, Carl Winehouse and Sebastian Boykenseng, Evangelos Kurtis finishing up our GT3 finished lineup. Well done, everyone.
We're seeing drivers now quickly going back into the pits. We had another DNF. This one is Starkey and Uylal. Wait, did they come
I wonder
together?
if they run out of... I don't know. I missed that. But they might have also run out of fuel. I think it was a two-stopper for the GT3s.
Certainly running a bit aggressive.
There you have it, folks. First multi-class Interlagos race of this series finished.
And a very solid race under our belts too. So, excellent stuff from all the drivers. Let's take a quick look at the race results. And Federico Pocosi is your winner. 42 laps on the board here of Interlagos, and done a great job doing it. Bellucci's in second with Adam Zappler in third. Betik Schlichting is going to be closely following Butzin, Bouquet, Walter, Diaz, and Wallace. Then you have Perron, Oli, Stenius, Garnham, Kerner, Wilson, and Borgso to finish. Burt, Moffat, Lehtinen, Ramsey. And then you have Nisbet, Willal, Starkey, Forty, Biddle, Dijnik, Barham, Whitehouse, Borgerson, and Curtis. Followed by, finally, Matteo Baldinini, Efford, and Vasilopoulos. There, that is our session complete, and that is the session we are going to be jumping out of. Unfortunately, I had a little hiccup with the camera. That was what the technical issue was earlier, so we switched back to placeholder image. But hopefully we get a chance to talk to our racers. We will see But I may need you, just warning now, if we say the winners of each category, then we will be able to get some perspective each way.
I am looking forward to hearing from them and their thoughts on the race.
Where will we land? Looks like we have courses here. We need to ping out C. Let's have a look. So let's grab Percussi. I would say try to read Bellucci and Percussi at the same time. And put interview. Alright, so we have got Robert. Unfortunately, the camera doesn't want to work with the interview section either. OBS having a bit of a moment. But we will get Mr. Poor in and we'll get a chance to talk to him. Doesn't look like I can drag over. Unfortunately, it looks like we're going to have to go in the waiting room ourselves.
Let's go there.
Alright. We can't move you over, Robert, but can you hear us in the waiting room over here?
Yes, I can hear you.
Amazing. Well, lovely to have you, and I've got to say, very impressed with how you did on track. So how you feeling?
Oh, thank you. I'm very exhausted, I have to say. It's really tough with all those hypercars, and they were quite patient in the beginning, but in the end they weren't as patient anymore. So the adrenaline was up for the whole hour.
I can imagine. We could see them flashing lights a bit towards the race and some close calls there. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It's a fresh season. Did you come in with a particular strategy?
Yes, actually I did. It's all about the fuel game, and I thought in the beginning to save fuel, but it wasn't really possible because it was quite close. And especially after the pit stop, I almost could attack Lehtonen, who led almost the whole race, and then I couldn't make a move because he just didn't do any mistakes. So well done to him. That was really good. So I tried to save fuel and beat him in the pits, and then I saw he underfueled, and then when I thought, okay, I maybe I get that win. It's not really easy to judge how many laps it is because the hypercars doing their own race, so the last lap started already after 60 minutes. It's really difficult.
Well, I'd say you handled it quite well.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a lot to calculate all race.
Any questions from you, Aaron?
Not really. I would just like to offer my congratulations. Well done. It was certainly difficult, nerve-wracking to have the hypercars going around you, but you've done well.
Thank you. Yeah, it was nerve-wracking, and I saw many times Lehtonen in front of me had bad luck, and many situations which could have gone bad. But yeah, overall, I think it was quite good for everyone, at least what I saw.
Actually, I do have one question. How and do you practice for multi-class racing?
You can't really practice for multi-class racing.
Yeah, it is hard.
It's really hard. You just have to trust them and just be clear on the inputs and where you're going, and then sometimes just hope.
Well, this time it seemed to have paid off for you.
Yeah, it did. Thanks.
Yeah, well, looking forward to seeing what you do next. I mean, looking at the championship, is that something on the table?
Yes, for sure. It's I like it very much to race the same people every week and just have one shot at the race, and then you get to know each other. And I'm the person who studies the standings and calculating. Do I need P1? Do I need P5? So yeah, absolutely, it's on the table.
Yeah. Yeah, the community aspect makes it a whole lot different, whole lot more worth it. And
Yeah.
we are glad to have you aboard.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Robert. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Well done to you. I couldn't attack you, but I thought I beat you on the fuel, and I did.
Yeah, to be honest, on the first stint, I was getting a little worried because you were closing the gap, but then, yeah, not close enough. But yeah,
No,
when I pitted the first time, I was looking at the strategy sheet, which shows like how many laps you have remaining, and I thought that was the fuel.
oh,
So, yeah, that's no bueno from my
yeah,
side.
it's quite stressful with the hypercars around to adjust the strategy.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
And you had sometimes really bad luck. So I could save fuel and gain the second, and gain the second, and gain the second again. Especially in T1, T1-2 was 2 laps in a row. I thought you may spin, but you did well to avoid it.
Did you see towards the end of the race there was the Peugeot on turn 1?
Yeah.
Which that I was really scared that the car would have been broken after that, but no, it was luckily fine. Yeah, that kind of came out of nowhere, but yeah, good job from your side as well.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Letton's doing a better job at interviewing than us.
We can have a whole conversation here.
Yeah, it's like Formula One cool-down room. That's actually a good idea.
Yeah, well, we couldn't drag people over to commentary, so yeah, this is the next best thing. And looks like we have actually accidentally formed a new segment, so I like this idea. But we're going to take a moment to talk to Picossi as the prospective winner of the hypercar class here at tonight's round. So, Picossi, how are you feeling? Hopefully I've not been butchering your name too much.
Yeah, first of all, good evening, everyone. Yeah, it was a tough race, not easy, you know. Mixed class are never easy, especially on a short track like Interlagos. All in all, the race went clean, without too many hitches, except for a small contact at the end of the first stint, before returning to the pits for the pit stop. But after which, the pace on the new medium tires, without having to do lift and course, you know, amazing the first stint. Yeah, the pace was acceptable, despite the damage onto the front. But yeah, that was nice and clean from my side.
Yeah,
yes, it certainly seemed to be so.
Oh, so the one thing I did want to ask is, there's no mistaking it. There's no real denying it. Your pace out there was something else today. So, could you pin that down to any particular part? Was it your driving style? Was it how you set up your car? Is there anything that you'd in particular look at as your sort of one main thing that contributed to such a strong performance today?
Yeah, the Lamborghini has a very strong brakes. Well, and I managed to brake very strong in the first zone on the braking zone. Then I turned the car without with some tread braking, and then flat out. And yeah, the Lambo has also nice traction out the turn. So yeah, for the setup I use the Go setup. They are very nice setup, and yeah, I use them since ACC, and I love them.
Yeah, well, it certainly showed.
What?
Yeah, it worked out well for you.
So that pace on display was absolutely something else. So we were checking in frequently on you in qualifying. It really came together really well, and you can visually see what you're talking about with the strong brakes, and you leaned into that voltage very well. So I guess question I have before I let you go, or Era has any, is in terms of the rest of the championship. We've had Interlagos tonight, but out of the remaining 9 rounds, so Spa, Fuji, Bahrain, Monza, Imola, Le Mans, Algarve, Kota, Sebring, any particular track you are looking forward to?
I don't know. Yeah, Spa is one of my favorite tracks, but also Monza and Le Mans. Yeah, I love the tracks where you can. Maybe Interlagos, it wasn't a nice track for overtakes and entertainment, no? But tracks like Spa, Le Mans, Monza, yeah, also a bit more interesting for the viewers, you know? Yeah, more funny tracks, no?
Certainly more overtaking opportunities on those tracks.
Yeah.
Well, it's certainly great to have you in the box, or in the waiting room, I should say. Hopefully, we might see you here in this commentary waiting room a couple more times over the course of the season. We'll have to wait and see. But, Kosi, thank you. Great. Me and Ira are now going to head back to the commentary room for a sort of final sign-off.
Thank you so much. Have a nice night.
As to you. So here we go. We are now back in the commentary room. So that was Robert Paul. We briefly had Timo Lehtinen, strong finisher, in third, but did hold the lead of the race for a good chunk in the LMGT3s. And that is where we leave it. So next time out, we are heading to Spa. And I personally am a big fan. I'm a big fan of Spa Francorchamps. It is a very fun, very interesting track. How do you feel about
Classic. It's a classic. There's always something going up at Eau Rouge. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
It's one of my personal favorites.
La Source, it's Eau Rouge, Radion, Pouon, and many, many other parts of the track. It's just iconic. There's no other way to put it. But this is where we are going to be wrapping up, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a blast to join you on the inaugural round. If you want to get involved, of course, have a look around. Check out the YouTube channels. Keep it here. And it is a honor to have everyone in the live chat. We'll have much more interesting content to come as well. So stay tuned here. Great season ahead. More content to come from myself and Ira. Thank you very much. See you next time.
Thank you.
And goodbye.
Goodbye.